The Great Push.
Great Push, yep.
That's it. And the Great Push, where the winner will get a small prize pool and perhaps a hemorrhoid.
Yeah, so we're not going to talk about the Great Push in depth as what it is as a tournament or anything like that, or what the MDI is. We're going to talk a little bit more about the player, and I mean player of the MDI's sort of feelings towards it. Great Push seems fine, but there's a fundamental flaw, and that is it's a $20,000 prize pool, and they have to play for days, basically. They have to play for days.
To give people just a quick TLDR of what the Great Push is, current MDI is, I believe, because I'll be honest, I do not watch the MDI, and I don't give anything about WoW Esports. I just don't care. That is not at all why I am drawn to World of Warcraft. Yeah. I am drawn to it because it is an MMORPG, not because of any competitiveness or esports stuff, other than just the regular social competitiveness of, being a player and wanting to do well. So that is where I come into this personally, but your rough TLDR is regular MDI. That's Mythic plus 18 time trials, right? Isn't it? I think so. So that's obviously very different to how regular players engage with Mythic Plus. Regular players are pushing their key higher and higher for better rewards until, of course, they hit the cap, and then there's the whole percentage-based system of more loot after 15, I believe. So that is what regular people, do, right? They try to push keys, not try to optimize the perfect Mythic plus 18 run. So the Great Push is where the competition is who can push the key the highest.
Yes.
And yes, it's got a 20 grand prize pool. Now, many people might see that and think, you're telling me these people can earn 20 grand from playing a game that they're playing anyway, just doing some dungeons. I do dungeons. That's easy. It's not like that for esports, because to be good enough at doing mythic dungeons, to be good enough to actually compete in something like this, you and your team need to just be practicing and practicing and practicing like it's a job. And guess what? It is a job, because you can get sponsors. You are working for an organization that is, your team, be it, a Method or an Echo or something. It is a job, so we do have to work out what the financial side of it is like. Now, I guess for people who can stream through practice, that can make it decent, but streaming through practice is going to give up your routes and your tactics and things like that if you do have any special tactics planned. So, from what I understand, a bunch of MDI teams don't stream their proper practice.
Yeah, that's been a whole thing the past while, where some of them will, but they'll only do it out of necessity, because they need to, if they're off practicing for 4 or 5 days and they're not streaming, then their actual personal career as a streamer takes a big hit.
Yeah.
So it's kind of we'll have to sacrifice our ability to play in this tournament to get to keep that streaming thing going and actually earn money from it, because, and this is where the problem lies, it just doesn't pay for itself.
Yes, so ideally we were going to screen share you this, but the capture card has fallen over.
Thanks.
I imagine it's fallen over because of bandwidth in this play or something.
Maybe.
Wait, that's just the HDMI.
Yeah, no, it's definitely the actual.
Weird.
Need to solve that.
But we can at least talk you through the numbers though in the actual per hour values that top competing teams can expect to get.
So I can't remember when this is from, but here is I suppose you can vaguely say what it is. It's a spreadsheet from Now, the MDI man, who has broken down the prize pool and what the actual earnings were for the MDI Cup.
Yeah.
And they're not good.
And it's worth noting as well, this is a higher prize pool than the Great Push.
Oh, yes.
Much higher than the Great Push. Yeah. The Great Push is basically going to be comical in comparison to the already very low earnings here. Yeah. Basically, the rub of this, if we really just want to cut to it, is, say for Echo, the winning team.
Yep.
They're looking at $17.8 an hour. As players now,
it's not too bad for playing World of Warcraft, but
it's $3 more than than working at Amazon or something.
Yeah.
And that's not to denigrate anybody who's working at
yeah.
around that amount of money. It's just that for winning a tournament by being the best of the best, the cream of the crop, at a certain thing, you would expect that to come out to more than $17 an hour. And certainly, I mean, in a lot of other esports, and we can talk about that in a sec, the numbers are different. For the team that came second place, it's $12.50 an hour. The team that came third place, it's $8.
Yep.
And for the other two teams, it's $2.50 an hour for the players. And the thing with that is, if you want really good players and you want esports orgs to take you seriously and dedicate resources, you're going to have to put in that big prize pool.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily because the esports orgs and players are making all of their money off purely the prize pool. That's not really it for many orgs.
Never how it's worked.
But it does add more credibility and scale and stuff like that to a scene that sucks people in. And if you look at Riot, if you look at Valve, I mean, the prize pools that happen for League and stuff are they're just mind-bogglingly big.
They're huge.
You know, and that's stuff that similarly to an MDI is going to be split between 5 players, like if it's a MOBA.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's that weird thing where regular MDI barely pays for the players. The Great Push with its 20 grand prize pool, which is less than that, is going to be paying even less for players. So what is it? 20 grand, 8 grand goes to the winning team. So that's what, like 1,600 a player?
Yeah. So it was here. Yeah, it was 20 grand. I'm pretty sure it's set here somewhere, but it's not. Cool. But yeah, I mean, it's like that's proving grounds begin. So that's 2 days, right? That's 2 days of you pushing keys as hard as you possibly can if you want to actually make it there and have a chance at winning. Then you're going to put in loads and loads of practice, obviously, because you need to practice. You can't just show up and be a good player and be literally best in the world. You have to put the practice in, and then you play for 2 whole days, and then, you know, if you've made it through, and I imagine that's 2 whole days, people aren't going to go, I'll play for 6 hours that day or 8 hours that day. That's not going to be 2 days of work. That's going to be, we're running dungeons for 16, 20 hours.
Yeah.
And then doing it again the next day. And then continuing to practice. And then day 1, day 2, day 3. If you make it through, that's going to be full production days of straight playing the game.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's $20,000. I mean, even if you split that across, if you give all 20,000 to a winning team, that's still only $4,000 a player for 5 days of work, which is, even then. And
then the risk profile of that is such that it's not guaranteed.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah,
so that's why it should be
a
a larger amount. Then the other thing is to be able to, in those proving grounds, do super well. There's going to be lots of training as a team.
Yeah.
And that training time, like, that is hours. That is hours of work. Right? And, you know, you might be thinking it's playing World of Warcraft. No, if you are grinding Mythic Plus dungeons to try to push higher and higher and higher and stuff like that, specifically for a tournament, I mean, you are playing a video game, but, like, make no mistake, what you're doing is work.
Yeah.
So, to a bunch of players, that just ain't going to make sense. But that said, Blizzard do get to optimize this pretty well because they're not putting that much money in, and the MDI has been getting surprisingly good viewership. It really has, and perhaps something like the Great Push, I don't know if it would do even better. Maybe people would see it as being, you know, a one-off special thing, so it would do better, or maybe they see it as ancillary and it doesn't matter as much.
Depends if there's any like movers or shakers in the fact that it's a different kind of format.
Yeah, Kirk just says, wait, it's 20k total? I thought the winner gets 20k. Yeah, it's a 20k total prize pool.
Yeah.
Winner gets 8k, so $1,600 a player for, you know, for in this 5 days of work plus all of the training, and then remembering that you know, that's $1,600 for all of that work. And hey, for 5 core days of work, $1,600, I mean, damn, right? That's pretty sweet. But that's only if you win. Yeah. And there's a pretty high chance you're not going to win.
Yeah.
And this is something that Limit Max got a little bit of drama for, where
we'll cover that in a little bit, I think.
well, it's just that thing where, you know, if Echo are competing with this, then if past events are a predictor of future results, and you were to say that Echo have got a high chance of winning this, if you're a non-Echo player and you are standing to earn like, I don't know, $800 for 5 days of work plus loads of practice if you come second, and also opportunity cost, because it's going to if any of the people who are competing here are competing instead of doing their day job, so maybe they're competing based on, you know, taking some of their paid time off, which of course is a valuable thing, and I mean, especially if it's American teams, because I believe the Americans don't really get as much as in other places in the world
I don't
holiday
believe
stuff.
So. I mean, that's Saturday, Sunday, but that's going to take out a lot of people who like will, you know, be working during the week. But I mean, everyone, like, what percentage of the population actually works Saturday and Sunday? It's massive. Like,
it's massive, but even if you do not work Saturday and Sunday, that is sort of baked into your job in a way, because hopefully you're feeling rested and rejuvenated. So this is at a high time and effort cost to players. You look at this and you're like, well, how does it make sense? And it's quite funny, you know, if you... so what you can see on the screen there is that, and straight under... under, they call out the 300 grand prize pool of the main finals.
Getting there, but it's still, you know.
Oh yeah, like 300 grand's. I'm sure that's all pretty awesome. But yeah, so that's one of the bits of player discourse that's been going on for the Great Push.
I will have to temper a little bit, because there's something, as someone who's really into fighting games, I'm like, this is an open tournament that's very open, so that's good. That's perfectly great, and I mean, people will have to put themselves at risk in order to actually be good in the first place. And I mean, obviously, there's no chance for a random team to win, really, but there's a chance for them to get noticed. So in a world where the general esports scene for World of Warcraft is bigger and a lot more diverse, this makes complete sense. But at the same time, even then, like, 20,000 USD is laughable as a prize pool. For looking for the best players in the world in one part of your $1 billion game. It is honestly kind of atrocious.